Hey everyone, Ivy Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we're going to take a look at Dahlia. I'm going to give a little bit of a first impressions, and we're going to talk about the community feedback so far. Alright, so I am here on the test server, not to be confused with the global servers or the Forerunner server. Those are different. So the test server is not the Forerunner server. This is a special testing ground with resources for limited amount of content creators. Now, because of my situation with my face, with the Bell's palsy and paralysis, I really don't spend that much time on the computer testing and everything and using the games on the PC because it really strains me. So I honestly don't really have too much time myself to test her on the test server. But I want to look at her kit. I want to give my impressions of her, and I want to actually talk about some YouTube comments that I saw on other content creators' videos that kind of say a lot about this character and I think give pretty good feedback based on the other content creator testing. So in the description, I will link to the videos that I reference, of course. Give proper credit where credit is due. So if you guys want to see some detailed testing of this character as well after our discussion and first thoughts, you can head on over to those YouTube channels if you haven't already. So Dahlia here, let's get the artistic stuff out of the way. Let's take a look at her cinematic. So I remember someone posting that her cinematic actually had like copyright strike for YouTube with the music in the background. I think it was destined or so. I think it was destined. So I'm gonna not play the music right now, but this is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it, guys? They did amazing with the graphics here. And if you, I do recommend that you play it with the sound on once you get access to it because it's beautiful. The visuals are amazing, and the music that goes along with it is really, really cool. So we've been asked to take a look at her and give some feedback to our content creator contact. So they are actually wanting feedback on this hero. So I think the comments, which I'm going to take a look at with you guys, kind of are going to say a lot and be good advice for Moonton to analyze this hero before she actually comes. So we know that Dahlia is going to be an exclusive hero. This has already been talked about, and the information has been leaked. And she's super cool. But we don't have the dates as of now, as far as I know, unless I missed that memo. But I was not told officially by Moonton anything about the dates of the release, just asked to take a look at this character. So that's what we're going to do right now. Her promotion animation was really cool, so I wanted to show it. Love it. Really beautiful visuals for her, right, guys? So first of all, here is her little description. Dahlia cultivates the cursed blossom from the depths of her resentment. Where Dahlia treads, the cursed blossom is sure to bloom, ensnaring unwitting admirers within its beautiful but malevolent grasp and silently inflicting deadly venom. Oh, my mouth doesn't want to say that word. It's like all right, I'm awkward. But her range, what is with this range? This is really weird for a mage. It looks like a fighter, right? I actually saw multiple people say that in YouTube comments, just browsing the comment sections before actually watching the videos. So I have not fully watched any content creator videos giving feedback on this hero. I have seen some notes. I think when Fastidious posted his video, he said she seems great for Gear Raid 1, but that's about it. Kind of meh everywhere else. But yeah, we're going to talk about some other comments too. I think in his Discord, I saw someone say that they thought she would be really good for Gear Raid or Gear Dungeon 2 or gear rate 5, I guess we could call it. And I'm not sure why, but I guess maybe we'll take a look. But it's a weird kit, right? Like, this type of range on a mage is really strange and really limiting as well. Is she so OP that they need to make her limited? I don't know. It's like, I doubt that to begin with. But the idea of a trap is really fun, so that's good. Delaying the heroes, maybe that's why. The idea of traps, I think, could be pretty helpful for Gear Dungeon 2, based on what I read. It sounds like anything to knock back or delay the characters could be good, so they even suggest like Edith in there for her knockback. But I wonder if the trap will kind of fulfill that same role, and that's why maybe she could be good for Gear Dungeon 2. Maybe even Gear Dungeon 1 as someone else who, depending on the range, if she can get in the right spot and just take care of a line of characters, I mean, that's kind of all you need. Some places, there is just a single path, but honestly, it feels like this range is very limiting and very weird for a mage. So instantly, my feedback is, why isn't she like a fighter instead? She could be a fighter for cultists, right? I don't see why not. Why a mage? I don't know. All right. But here is her base stats. 4,100 attack, almost 11,000 HP, and 750 defense. Her cost is 21, so she's a little more expensive than some of the other mages that are like 19. We have Vierna, I think, at 20. She's 21. Her attack speed interval is 3.5 seconds. Or sorry, her attack interval. Alright, so I maxed out her skills here. Her talent, first of all, of course, she's dealing magic damage as a mage, not surprising. But her talent generates 1 cursed blossom on a random tile in range every X amount of seconds. The X is equal to 1.5 attack intervals. Cannot target airborne units. Again, really weird for a mage. Why? Literally, just the little bit I've looked at her kit so far, everything tells me she should be a fighter. I think it's really weird that she's a mage. Alright, Cursed Blossom. Deals 100% damage 1 time and inflicts 50% slow for 5 seconds to ground enemies who enter the affected tiles. Inflicts 1 stack of poison for 10 seconds up to 3 ground enemies on each affected tile every 3 seconds. So we've got slow and poison. Okay. I like that they're bringing in more poison on a legendary hero. That's good to see. Let's take a look at her kit. So her ultimate. Oh, that looks cool. I love the visual there. Really, really cool, right? So when activated, increases the hero's damage by 30% for 10 seconds. During the skill effect, the hero's basic attack prioritizes igniting 1 existing Cursed Blossom with enemies around, dealing 270% AoE damage to up to 8 nearby enemies, and inflicting slow and 2 stacks of poison. So this is a slow of 50% that lasts for 5 seconds. Takes effect only when stronger than the current buff or debuff on the same attribute. And then 2 stacks of poison, which lasts for 10 seconds. And that is 5% continuous magic damage per second, stacking up to 10 times. Poison effects from different sources can coexist. So, really interesting with the poison and slow. I think that sounds pretty fun, honestly. But the range is weird. It's definitely very niche, right? There's going to be a lot of situations where you wish she had more range, I feel like. Alright, AoE on her basic attack. 120% AoE damage to up to 10 enemies. That's pretty solid. Demonic Surge. Every Cursed Blossom ignited increases crit damage by 30% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. That's her passive. And then her other passive, Thorn's Embrace. If there are at least 2 instances of Cursed Blossom adjacent to an ally, the ally gains a block increase of a block plus 1 and a damage increase of a damage plus 20. But more with the percentage increases here. if there are at least 2 instances of Cursed Blossom adjacent to an ally. The ally gains block increase and crit damage increase. Yeah, I'm really curious to see that in action. That sounds really cool. Block increase and and damage increase. So this seems like it would really help fighters out, particularly. Damage increase and block increase. You're not worried about blocking for someone who's ranged. So this sounds like it's made to pair with the fighters. Maybe someone, you know, like she's of the cursed faction, so that's, I guess you would say, or even someone like Captain Rev here, who is also going to be a damage dealer, so you could really boost their damage and their survivability. So maybe she's really meant to go along with them in very specific content. Maybe they have something very particular in mind. Her kit sounds very specific. That's my opinion so far. All right, her awakenings. Awaken 1, the number of cursed blossoms required to trigger Thorn Embrace is reduced to 1. Awaken 2, plus 300 attack. Awaken 3, it deals 25% extra damage to targets inflicted with poison. Nice. Cost -2, that's a good awaken for sure. But if she's gonna be an exclusive limited hero, getting 5 copies of her is gonna be pretty hard. Let's see what happens if you get 6 copies, though. Or you use your soul stones. Alright, Cursed Blossom also inflicts the same amount of damage and slow effect to enemies who leave the affected tile. Okay. So as they pass through? That's interesting. Alright, she sounds really quirky. It is a bit of a complicated kit to analyze. So does she have an exclusive artifact? Oh yeah, we get her exclusive artifact in the event that would be coming, I think, is what I saw. So yeah, I can't see that right now, but hopefully, yeah, hopefully we could see it in the future very, very soon. I don't see her exclusive listed in the artifacts for the Forge, like stuff we can get from Void Rift, so I think, unfortunately, it's just the reality for her. I think obviously the exclusive is like that ball that she's holding right there. I don't see that there. That's her weapon, so it doesn't look like it's something we'll be able to forge, but more than likely we're gonna have to use the universal like rank up, promotion up material for the sake of that. All right, so I think she sounds interesting. Definitely very niche with how her range is. But there are a lot of areas in the game where we have like a single path just to blast. So maybe it's not going to be that bad after all. And the effect of poison and stuff, it seems pretty strong with her. I really like the slow and poison combination. So maybe they just felt like it would be a little bit too broken if she had a big range. I don't know, honestly. But yeah, and something like Gear Raid 1, if she just goes along one of the tiles that's like the path that's at the wall, you know, she's gonna be just fine covering everything as they approach the walls. So I guess it's not too big of a deal there. But I like it. It's interesting. It's quirky. I like quirky. I like weird kits because then, you know, there's probably a specific intent for that kit, I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's the case. All right, I just want to point out a couple YouTube comments from some content creator videos to wrap this up because I think it's good feedback for Moonton as well. Alright, so the first video I'm going to take a look at some comments on is under Fastidious. So he did full detailed testing, guys. Always trust his deep dives. He does a really good job testing heroes in different areas of the game. He has 2 videos on her actually, so if you really want to dive deep and take a look at what's going on with her and see her in lots of content, definitely watch these. I just gave him a quick browse, but I'm going to fully watch them after this. I kind of didn't want my opinion too swayed by seeing his video. I already knew that the idea of her range was weird, and I definitely agree once I read her kit. But I'm gonna show a couple comments and then, yeah, wrap this up. This comment I loved immediately. It has a lot of thumbs up as well, so let's take a look here. She's a limited hero. She needs something special to get people excited. If they want to keep that range, then make her the first universal hero that can be placed on the ground or platform tiles. Make her, maybe make her squishy on the ground so you need a defender in front of her, or she takes a damage reduction for being on the ground. Yeah, this is such a good comment. I think that sounds super cool. Because her range is so weird and feels so limiting as a mage, if they made her be able to be placed on the ground, she could fulfill the role maybe in Gear Raid 5, aka Gear Dungeon 1, where we put Velk up in that straight line, kind of in like a similar idea maybe. Maybe she could go up there. She could also, like I said, she could be amazing for Gear Dungeon 2. I think that sounds like a pretty good possibility based on me just reading what that dungeon was about and looking at the map. I do think she could be really good for, I mean, who knows? Maybe she's potentially good for the new guild boss big ol' battle in the future as well. But yeah, I really love this comment. This sounds like such a good idea. And then this one is a bit more detailed. I'm going to read through this comment as well. So the first comment was from Hoodlass123, and this one is from ROK Wrestling. It says, I'm a late game player and I was excited about Dahlia, but man, that range. To counter some of your points about this hero. So this is going against what Fastidious is saying in his video. So, all right, number 1. If this hero is based on future unknown content, her range is still a negative because that means she may potentially be essential to completing that content, which would lead you to believe that if you miss her, then you won't be able to complete it. We're already seeing this a little with Gear Raid Dungeon, which is a limited diversity in team comps for completion. So yeah, that is a good shout. If they make her too niche, but in a way that she's amazing for a specific content to come, you don't want to feel like you need her or you can't complete the content, because then it's just too much of like a power creep and a FOMO with a character that's exclusive and not available all the time on banners. So that is a really good point. All right, being that she's a limited hero, this means awakenings for her are going to be more difficult to come by, which means if you want to get her A5, you'll have to shell out truckloads of money to get her. If not, you're lost until she returns. So I'm someone who has a bunch of soul stones sitting around, so I'm pretty lucky there. But yeah, her awakenings seem interesting for sure, but I can't tell how OP they are. I might have to dive a little deeper, or yeah, maybe I will certainly see what Fastidious had to say about them. All right, number 3, there are already so many options for Gear Raid 1 that having yet another hero that doesn't really do much. So if you're late game in the game and you've already completed all the Gear Raid 21s, so that's definitely the case too. Yeah, if like Gear Raid 1 is the only place she's currently really shining, then anyone that's completed Gear Raid 1 stage 21 is going to be like, well, I don't really need her, do I? But I think her kit sounds quirky enough that there might really be some intention, as they say, for future unknown content or even just Gear Dungeon 1 or 2. Again, but I think the idea of the last person for the sake of Gear Raid 1 or Gear Dungeon 1, I think would be really cool if you could place her on the ground as well. Alright, and then in my opinion, they need to fix that range, and if the hero is labeled as limited, they really need to shine in more than a few areas of content. Furthermore, their A0 should be just as viable as awakened lesser heroes. True. That's fair. Alright, lastly, I know this is a gacha game, but what drew me in the first place, starting on day 1, was seeing how accessible the heroes were from rare to legendary, and as you and many others have highlighted, that the devs are very giving with epics and free legendaries that can carry you very far. I love that this game I play every day, and I'm not going to threaten to quit because of something I disagree with, but I find myself becoming more and more apathetic to all these new heroes and announcement. It just seems to be progressively more cash grabby and less content expansion. Alright, well, there's some fair criticism there as well. But yeah, I think I think there's some really good comments here. I'm sure there are even more. Oh, this was the other one I noticed right away. I love this comment from Renard Dubois. I'm so bad at French. I'm not even going to try to say that anymore. Nope, I'm giving up. All right. They should build around the concept of these plants she's putting being invasive. Like when she uses her ultimate, they explode, gain scatter around, and start to grow new plants. I do love the idea of doing something quirky with like summoned units. In this case, the plant. I think that's a really cool idea as well. But all right, I think I'm going to leave it at that for sake of these comments. I saw some on another video or two, but I think this video alone, you can see really good feedback from the community as well. So I certainly am going to point that out to Moonton, that I think the comments on this video are really interesting. And yeah, I don't know. I think it sounds like Fastidious did a great job showcasing her for this video. So I'm gonna link his video for this in my description. And if you guys want to give it a watch, I definitely suggest it. I trust that he did a good job showing her. And I'm super curious about her. I'm still excited. I think she sounds interesting. And I hope she'll be better than just Gear Raid 1. But, you know, it's kind of hard to analyze with such a weird range. You have to like go look at other content and try to think of exactly where is she going to be fit. Maybe specific stages in Void Rift or something as well. But I like the idea of the poison and the slow on her ultimate as well. So I don't know. I'm still very interested in her. But I guess I'm going to have to go watch the rest of this video myself and take a deep look as he shows her deeply in Gear Raid 4, Stage 6. He shows her in Gear Raid 1, Stage 21, talking about her mechanics, and then AoE Arena as well. So go give this a watch again. I'm just going to give a shout out here to Fastidious, and his video was on the test server again. My video is on the test server here. Let me know if you're still hyped about this character or if you have additional feedback for Moonton as well. But thank you guys for watching. Sorry I'm still no face video up in here, but yeah, I will see you in the next video.